They said it was impossible. They said,
you can't put together the most elite team of comic book reviewers on the planet and do, a podcast or something like that?
Despite all that, today we can proudly announce. Yeah, they were right. We couldn't do it. So instead, we brought you the most vile, ignorant, unprofessional group of comic book enthusiasts we could find. This is Panel to Panel, the Game Rage Magazine comic podcast.
That is right, as we are brought in by the most epic-sounding musical score history has seen. Welcome to Panel. This is Panel to Panel. My name is Josh. I'm here today with Adam.
Howdy.
We're going to continue our House of X, Powers of X series. But before we get into that, if you want to listen to other things that we do that aren't about podcasts, that are podcasts but aren't about comic books, you can go to GameRageMagazine.com and see our full menu of podcasts. You can also hear them on pretty much anything that is an aggregator of podcasts or rips from an RSS feed. Likely it's on there. So you can go to GameRageMagazine.com to hear all that. And you can go to Game Rage Magazine at Game Rage Magazine on Instagram and TikTok, at Game Rage Mag on Twitter/X. All Gas No Trash official. If you want to see Adam on Instagram, you can hear all of his wonderful musical musings and all the latest in music news from around the world. All right, now that that's out of the way, we're going to continue on with the House of X, or House of Sex is what our new brothel is going to be called in
Las Vegas.
In Nevada or wherever, somewhere in Nevada. So House of X, issue number 4, opens up with this epic looking cover of all of the X-Men fighting against these dudes that are all in red.
The strike team that is supposed to go to the Orchis headquarters, and you got Cyclops with this sweeping shot of his beam from his eyes, Nightcrawler swinging the sword, Monet in the midst, in the middle. I don't know. I don't remember who the blonde chick. I keep forgetting who that is. But Wolverine lunging at a fucking Orchis soldier.
Also, multiple gunshot wounds, including one to the dome.
No damage.
So we open up with the typical quote, just simply no more, from Professor X.
Reminiscent of what is going on with the Israel-Palestine situation. No more.
No more. No mas.
No mas.
And so we have a nice little infographic here that tells us, look at what they've done. Mutant extinction events. We have Genosha, Sentinel, Trask, Mumadrai genocide, 16.5 million mutants dead. Then the decimation, which was mutant erasure by the pretender Wanda Maximoff, 1 million depowered.
Yeah, that's the house. I think it's the House of M storyline. Once that situation resolved, that there was only the number of mutants that existed went down
to basically nothing. And so we have, in addition to the 2 mutant extinction level events, recent history has seen an uptick in the incidence of human-on-mutant violence. The increased number of mutant births since the Lights has only served to provide more opportunity for these human-on-mutant crimes to be enacted. And they have this list of humans who have committed major mutant crimes and the death tolls that they have wrought. And basically the top 2 are Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch, and with the Avengers killing 986,000, basically 1 million mutants. And then Bolivar Trask with the Sentinels killing the 16.5 million mutants.
Those are GOAT numbers right there.
Those are GOAT numbers. And they have the mutant population listed at pre-Genosha, 17.5 million, and they were 0.0025% of the Earth's population. Then the pre-decimation, which was mutants lost, that was a 16.5 million, and they were down to 986,618. And that was the remaining population of Earth was down to 0.00014%. And then post-decimation, they were down to having only 198 mutants left.
Extinction level.
remaining mutant population of Earth was 0.000000029%. Goddamn.
So, those are Spotify royalty numbers right there.
Those are 3 cents numbers right there. So we open up on Magneto and Charles in their Krakoan god forms, I guess, if you want to refer to it as that.
Their regal Homo superior attire.
Yeah, Krakoan royalty, I guess. And
full regalia.
Yeah, full regalia. Krakoa observation. Charles asks, are we ready? And who the fuck is this over here?
That's Beast.
Beast? God, he does not look like Beast, man. So Beast in a blue shadowy form with all these computer digital screens up in front of him, telling him we're Professor. Trinary is pooling all observable data from human resources, Arecibo, a few retasked SETI radio telescopes, and the Division Solar Observatory. And that leaves us a good 8 light minutes behind because they're obviously looking at the shit that's happening on the sun. So he's basically saying, we have someone on hand who can extrapolate that data into actionable forecast. And we've got Storm and one of the
Cuckoo Sisters.
Standing there. And he says, and Charles tells him, you've always had a good shoulders on your good head on your shoulders there, buddy. And he says, thank you, sir. It's easily my 3rd best feature. Nice comedic line there, as is per the Beast Man.
Yeah, because I think at this point, mutants are capable of having a second genetic feature. Because they make that comment on X-Men 97 that Emma Frost had that diamond form.
Yeah.
That was her exhibiting her second X gene. And Beast is making the comment that, his 3rd best feature is having a good head on his shoulders.
Exactly. And he's asking, Professor X asked Storm if she's ready, and she says, yeah, but I don't know how this is fucking gonna go down. So then we've got Charles in the middle here saying, communion, my dear, all 8 of us acting as one. Shall we begin? And he pops on his fucking
his mobile Cerebro.
Yeah. His mobile suit fucking helmet, basically. The Cuckoos will bind with each of you, enabling you to join your minds together and function as a singular organism. He's calling it observation, analysis, and invocation. And as for myself, connection. Can you hear me, child? And then we get Professor and this I don't know what this is, liquid, disembodied head.
I have no fucking idea, but just this page alone, it's so good, to demonstrate what the psychic power, or even what is going on with the Cerebro helmet that is now mobile as opposed to being in a stationary room. Xavier is exhibiting his powers and also using this powerful helmet to communicate with I think it's Jean Grey, or is that right?
Yeah, that's who I think he's talking to.
But how fucking badass is this? The largest panel in this page to have this stream of water create a visual of Jean Grey. It just, my God, dude, Pepe Larraz is just home run after home run when it comes to art.
On another level, man.
On this specific panel, it's so beautiful, dude.
Yeah, it's fucking very beautiful and amazing, to say the least. And just the color shading, God damn, it just looks so good. Look at it, even in the water, it's not all just one color. It's the different shades of the water as it's making this image. So Charles says, oh, Jean, the anguish in your mind, the pain, should we fear the worst? Shit, man. Is everything bad happening? So she's basically oh, it's bad.
It's bad.
You guys.
Yeah.
You guys. I'm being so seriously, you guys.
Orcus, they're basically fighting the whole legion of Orcus troops. And I mean, I don't remember the full squad that's in there, but Logan's arm is falling off.
Oh yeah, it's barely connected by meat and some tendons essentially at this point. She's telling him that Archangel and Husk are dead. Nightcrawler has some kind of internal injury, and Logan is, he's not fully himself. We very much underestimated their resolve, and it has cost us. And he says, hey, can you complete the mission? Or I think Magneto's asking that. I don't know. Somebody's asking, can you complete the mission? And she says, I don't know. And so Cyclops jumps in and says, yeah, we got to finish this. Or this all was for naught. So Wolverine's just like, yeah, good God, he's right. His arm's regenerating back in. He's like, yeah, he's right. We got to finish this because if we don't, they will finish us. Don't kid yourself, Red. We're playing for blood here. Playing for keeps.
Yeah, so we're getting pretty good visuals of what the cost of going on this suicide mission is. The toll that this team is going through in order to potentially save the future of mutant kind, and probably looks like Logan's probably gotten the worst of it, and he's the one that has the healing factor, and everybody else seems to be, I mean, not in the best situation, but amongst the people that have taken it the worst, Logan's probably taking the most brunt of it.
And lucky for him, he can regenerate, right? Because if any other one of them would have took this, they'd be amongst the dead as well.
Right.
So Cyclops, or they're asking, so we soldier on, and Cyclops is like, yep. And he's like, hey, Nightcrawler, are you still good? And he's like, don't worry about me. I'm like, he's like trying to still be like, Nightcrawler.
The Cavalier motherfucker.
So Cyclops is like, okay, Jean and Monet will stay here to maintain our connection with Krakoa. Win or lose, they have to know what happens here. And so he says, the rest of us are going to jump in and disengage the Mother Mold's control collars and send that motherfucker into the sun. One-way trip. Nightcrawler's going to drop us off in each of the sections. Wolverine will take the one nearest to a security hub. Mystique will take the one connected to the habitat so she can blend in. Kurt and I will take the two remaining. Once it's done, he'll gather us up, and then we'll worry about finding some way out of here. Be safe, be strong, win. And it's cool as he's saying all these things, it's showing them in their little sections getting dropped in by Nightcrawler. And Logan is immediately fucking in enemy contact, just fucking starting to have to kill.
Yeah, what a great way to tell that story-wise, to start from left to right, and then Nightcrawler being at the very end of the set of panels to demonstrate that he's gone through each and every location to drop all these motherfuckers off. But then we get to the next page with Karima, who is, I actually don't know who she's
like some doctor or whatever, I think. And she's like, she tells her to get up, and she's like, "Why? I don't like it." She's like, "You got to get up, bitch. I'm just an observer here." Dr. Gregor, that's her name. I have no command authority. So if you plan to just sitting there defeated, paralyzed by loss, then I can't actually order you to defend the station. But if you don't, he will have died for nothing. And that's talking about her boy toy from the last issue who detonated himself with a bunch of fucking C4 and grenades to essentially fuck the X-Men up. And fuck them up he did. That was successful.
Yeah.
And that was what Cyclops was referring to, or Jean Grey was referring to as them having underestimated their resolve. Like, they didn't think that they would resort to terrorism, basically, or a suicide mission to stop them.
Right.
And so the Doctor just has this like fucking tears running down her face, this look of anger. And she's like, fuck it. This is Dr. Gregor, who's currently in charge of station security. Where are you, Captain? This is Captain Moore. Dr. Gregor, I've got the wheel. He says, I'm on the command deck trying to coordinate fire teams and emergency staff. Listen carefully, Captain. I'm at the habitat control collar. You need to send teams to the remaining 3 immediately. That's their real target. That's the goal. Okay, got it. Rerouting them now. But I dispatched 3 security details and loading skiffs to their ship. They're getting ready to breach and board the mutant vessel now. And we see the mother mold habitat thing just blown the fuck up. Pieces everywhere. The sun's in the background, and these 3 fucking ships are rolling in straight to the disabled X-Men fucking starship.
Yeah, the shit that's crazy is they're literally fighting for the future in this one fucking scenario.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think that this strike team from the X-Men, which is probably somewhere between 7 and 8 people, are capable of doing so much damage, which is why, I mean, shit, this Orchis team obviously sees the X-Men as a threat, and now we're seeing it because they were capable of causing this much damage to the mother mold, as we see in this particular panel where there's like bits and pieces flying off, and then you have these 3 ships that are coming into the mix.
Yeah, and so then the captain's asking the doctor here if he should stand them down, the teams that are going in, and she's saying, no, we're going to need to. And we hear this onomatopoeia in the background, this kragong on both panels showing them, and the doctor's like, what the fuck was that?
Sounds metallic.
Sounds some sort of metallic groaning. And Karima says, that was the sound of failure, Dr. Gregor. And she says, the mutants have disengaged 2 of the callers, and that was what those 2 noises were. And now the mother mold is hanging on by 2 fucking threads, about to get dropped its ass into the sun. And Karima says section 4, which shows a bunch of dead fucking Orcus security guys or whatever.
As Wolverine is moving off panel,
claws out,
making it evident that he just mopped the floor with these motherfuckers.
And then they say section 2, where they've got 2 scientists tied up and handcuffed seemingly, and Nightcrawler's booking it at the fuck out of there. And here we got a Stan Soapbox fucking page. Let's fucking scoot past that.
Man, these panels with the water flowing to show visuals and the communication, because obviously regular forms of communication would take far too long for them to go back and forth. So they're tapping into their powers, well, at least the people that are available to make this connection between Jean Grey and Cerebro, or rather Xavier, possible. This is what we're getting. And I'm like, man, what a fucking visual, dude. I can't overstate it enough.
Yeah. And then, you know what's crazy too? If you look at this panel right here, like whatever the fuck this is right here, it looks like a fingerprint on like a globe. Like that's kind of interesting. I don't know what that's supposed to be or represent, but that's kind of interesting to see that.
Yeah.
And so basically they're talking again and saying that they're halfway there. Nightcrawler and Wolverine just finished and are coming back, and Beast is saying how the Sentinel drones are on a deceleration arc and they're going to be here soon. So Jean says, I think we're okay. Cyclops is close and Mystique is, and that's when what's her name? What's the chick's name again? Monet comes in and says, we have to move. We're being boarded. Come on. And Jean's like, what? And so she's like, escape pod's in here. I'll cover your exit. And Jean's like, wait, what? You're not coming? And so Monet says, they have to find someone here or else they'll immediately start looking for you. And you have to stay in touch with the teams that are connected to Krakoa. Team's not a problem, but at this distance, without us working in tandem, the others as well, you need to come with me. And she's like, I don't know what to say, Marvel girl. Try harder.
Yeah. Now I realize why she was thrown in there, because she was going to be
cannon fodder.
I mean, on a meta level, to be talking about it from the writer's perspective, you needed an expendable mutant to die. So it's not.
Well, that's why Archangel and the blonde chick.
It's not Wolverine, Jean Grey, or it's not Cyclops.
Yeah, it's so the mains can come back. It's these, like, they're basically just ads at this point. They're good guy ads. Shut up, cat. Jesus Christ. So she ejects the ejection port or pod, and she says, we're out of options. Now it's for you lot. And so then she turns into, I don't know what the fuck this is. Some kind of
feral state
monster. And she just says, my goodness, you have bitten off more than you can chew. And she just starts shredding these fucking dudes.
Dude, she kind of looks like I forget who Blackheart is a son of, but you know who Blackheart is.
Yeah.
Fuck, I think Blackheart is the daughter or son of Satan or Mephisto.
I think it's Mephisto. Blackheart.
Well, Mephisto, being the equivalent of Satan in the Marvel universe, but I don't know. It just makes me think of Blackheart because it kind of looks this state of being. Yeah.
It's pretty demonic looking. So let me go back to the Forge, and it shows Cyclops blowing up, fucking
beaming them, dude,
incinerating them, and he's like, "I'm at my control collar," and he hits the button. The kragung noise goes off, and he's like, "Hey, all that leaves is you, Mystique." And he's like, Mystique, what's going on?" And she's literally just walking about unimpeded. Stop fucking screaming, Summers. Jesus Christ, I hear you. I got turned around, but I'm here now. Wait, hold on. Something's amiss, not right. And there's the doctor and Karima. Got some bad news for you, bitch. and she fucking jumps out to try to grab the fucking control collar, and they hit a button on the wall, and it vacuums the
fuck out of her
fucking
into space.
Like Mystique just fucking what is that when like it's like it boils off all your oxygen or in your body, and you just like fucking die like immediately. Sent to the fucking space death. And she's saying, Captain, they've disabled 3 of the support columns of the mother mold. I'm going to leave the one that's still engaged open to space. Hopefully hard vacuum will keep them out long enough for me to bring it online. Good. We eliminated the remaining opposition on their ship, so I'm retasking all support teams to you. They're en route now. So basically, Monet dead.
Yeah, well, shit, dude. Now this raises concern. It's like, well, shit, if Mystique's dying, then Wolverine and Jean Grey are not off the table.
No one is safe now at this point. What do you mean the mother mold bring the mother mold online? And she's like, I'll give you a guess. And it just says mother mold boot in 30 seconds, 29 seconds. And Karima's like, it's too soon. You know that's going to be insane. I think it will be. And no matter what, I'm not going to let them stop us. So then she says, I knew I had one in here. And she pulls out, I don't know, some little thing. And then Karima's like, a point-to-point translocator of AIM design. You mean to take the fight to them? And then the doctor's just smiling in this panel with this sly fucking smile. And you hear in the background, it's saying mother mold boot in 22 seconds, 21 seconds. Fucking.
So we got the countdown going, and we still have the X-Men trying to accomplish their mission of hopefully sending this goddamn massive head, the mother mold, to be incinerated at the flares of the sun, or the sun itself.
It will be literally destroyed at the quantum level when it goes into the fucking sun.
Fucking A, dude.
So then he says, Jean, they've powered on the mother mold, and she's saying, Jean's telling the professor, this is a cool shot too. It's her in real life, and then it like
an astral projected with the water version.
Yeah, that's really fucking cool. And she says, we're almost out of time. We failed to shut down the mother mold. It's coming online, and we don't know what to do. And the professor's just like, do whatever it takes. And she's like, did you get that, Scott? And he's like, yeah. Mother mold boot in 11, 10, beginning startup sequence. And you just hear him just.
This is another great panel to show the enormity. I mean, if you already didn't get the idea based on the ships from the ships that were arriving, I mean, you see it now with the longer rectangular shaped panel with some guy looking inwards towards the master mold, or looking out of a window and looking at the master mold itself. You just see this motherfucking giant ass head with the lights starting to go on, and now it's starting to seem as though this thing was actually going to be coming online.
Oh yeah, it's definitely happening right now. So then, shut up, cat. Jesus Christ. So then he says, Scott, and it's like, he's like, like he's trying to like fucking do it. And she's like, we can get there. Ain't no other way, Slim. And he's like, go. And so Nightcrawler and Wolverine are there, and Nightcrawler's asking, you ready? And he says, so I gotta ask, you still think there's something waiting for us on the other side?
Asking the man of God, Nightcrawler, if there's something at the other side, man. It's even Wolverine's like, fuck, man, we're not gonna make it.
Yeah, we're gonna die. And so he said, worried about your soul, Logan. And he says, just wondering what someone like me should expect. And he says, when you wake from this early slumber, my friend, look for me. I'll be there waiting for you.
Ever the comforting spirit that is Nightcrawler, dude.
Oh yeah, he is. He's just a good dude, you know? Radiant and with open arms. And they go into the thing. They get there, and they're basically fucking incinerating.
Dude, it is
Nightcrawler is immediately incinerated, and Wolverine is beginning to incinerate, and he's just chopping away at this fucking collar.
The worst part is that he has his healing factor, so it's not something that's going to happen immediately. Like, there will be a rate in which the flames will exceed his healing factor. So he's just actually getting the worst version. He's just being set on fire.
Oh yeah,
up to the nth the fucking degree.
Oh yeah, and this has got to be worse than hell. And so there's someone off screen saying, if man If man made me, then they are God, and you are Titans, their spoiled lineage. But while you war, we children sit in judgment of those above us. We judge and find you both wanting. And it's like I think the Mother Mold is fucking saying this.
Yeah, dude,
which is fucking crazy.
Hard ass lines being dropped by a Mother Mold that just came to consciousness.
And basically saying like, man is God and you are just the Titans and you're going to have your fucking way. You're going to have your death. And so the Mother Mold says, do you hear us, Olympus? Like talking to the humans now. We have stolen your fire. And with it, we will burn you all as it's fucking falling into the sun. And the Mother Mold, this image just of it disconnecting and just falling straight into the sun. This is pretty fucking cool imagery right here. And then it goes to Cyclops and says, bravest man I know. Jean, tell the professor it's done. It's cost us our friends, our family, but it's done. And Storm says, oh, good. Oh, goddess. And he says, I'm coming back for you now. I'm drifting in one of the escape pods. How are you? And he says, there has to be an EVA suit in the hangar. I'll jump to you and then use my powers to push us into escape velocity. So basically, like, we're going to fucking get out of here with my fucking laser image or laser fucking power. He says, you're going to have to hold the pod together while I do it, but it should work. And so she says, so your plan for us is to drift back to Earth, no food, no water, and some pretty terrible company. Doesn't matter. I'm still getting you home. Hurry, Scott. Don't worry. I'm on the way. And then you just see this purple shit envelop him and just this. And then he just gives this. And she yells out, Scott. And he's just laying on the ground. Subdued. Her. And Karima's there with her fucking robot death arm. The sensation you're feeling is a truly unhealthy dose of nanites coursing through your body. They won't kill you, of course. You're too strong for that. But by now, they're gathering at the base of your skull, preventing you from using your mutant powers. And he's just like, it doesn't matter. It's over. We destroyed the Mother Mold. We won. Capturing me means nothing. And the doctor says, capture you? My husband's dead, you son of a bitch. I'm not taking prisoners today. As she's like on a shotgun, getting ready to blow his fucking dome off. And she's literally, it zooms in on Cyclops' face, and in the reflective imagery of his visor, you see the doctor fucking pointing the shotgun right at his head. And he says, I'm sorry, Jean, I'm not going to make it. And she just fucking blows his head off. And Jean is screaming, no. She's alone in the pod, gone. They're all gone. Professor, the drones have arrived. Look at what they've done. And then the drones are just basically saying what they always do. And they're all just trying to get at this fucking pod that Jean Grey is in. Look at how this always ends with fire and death and the funerals of our children. And the fucking Mother, or not the Mother Mold, but the Sentinels are just ripping this pod open and they're just going to fucking get her. And they say, every victory, ash. Every triumph, defeat. They've murdered so many of us. The world has grown used to it. This is just how things are for those people, for mutants. And it shows all them, the ones back in Krakoa, they're just like, you know.
In despair.
In despair because everyone's dead. And now Charles, you see the tear running down his face and he just says, no more. And then on a blank fucking white page, you just see no more again highlighted. And you see it, these like news panels, Genosian genocide, the last of the mutants, everybody dying and dead. You see that 16.5 million, the 1 million depowered. You see this no more, no more, no more. And then again on the page with that black and white, the silhouette of Charles Xavier crying with the helmet on, and then no more. With him, the same fucking image inside the no. Man, that is fucking so good. So good. And then that's how this issue ends. No more. Man, this was a fucking great issue. Death and destruction comes to the X-Men.
I mean, you're thinking, oh, well, at least some of them are going to get out, right?
Yeah.
You know for sure Jean, Cyclops, and Wolverine are going to make it out with no problems.
No problemos. Nope. everybody's fucking dead.
This is how you start off Dawn of X, with everybody fucking dying, with the exception of Xavier and everybody else at Krakoa. Man, what did you take away from this issue?
This was definitely a what do you want to call it? The Game of Thrones level issue where they were killing main characters like it was nobody's business. And I know I don't know if it's going to be cheapened by the fact that there's multiple timelines here, and I don't know if they're going to be brought back in multiple, in another format or whatever. Because obviously in this storyline, they defeated the Mother Mold, but still theoretically Nimrod somehow comes into play. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see as we read further and look forward. But yeah, man, this was a great fucking episode. A great fucking comic issue. I was fucking stoked about it. It just got me further balls deep and further into this storyline.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't remember why, but pretty much since the beginning, I always remembered that House of X #4 was the one that there was just calamity and utter devastation across the board. And also all the badass panels that to portray the communication between Jean Grey and Xavier, with like the astral projection in water. I mean, I don't know, man. It's probably some of the most beautiful shit you would see in comic books, and it can only happen in comic books because that level of creativity is only something that can be done in fucking comic books. So I don't know, man. This is one of my favorite issues, but again, it just speaks to the fact that the way this thing started, and it's going to end this way because I'm not going to bother looking into the other shit that happens. Man, what a fucking start for this timeline for the X-Men, or this era and the continuity of the X-Men. And now we're entering the back half of the series. So now we work our way towards Powers of X for the next episode, which
Absolutely.
I can't wait.
Yeah, we're gonna record this immediately after, so you'll have both. You'll be able to go straight to the next issue, Powers of X #4, after listening to this episode. So, anyways, shit, that about does it for us on this episode. You got anything else?
No, I mean, just stay tuned for episode whatever for Powers of X #4.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to listen to other podcasts that aren't about comics, go to GameRageMagazine.com and you can see our full menu of podcasts. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Game Rage Magazine, Twitter/X at Game Rage Mag, at Game Rage Magazine on YouTube. If you like the YouTube, we would like to see some better numbers on the YouTube. But hey, listen wherever you want. Also, follow the cat soon, which is probably going to get its own goddamn fucking Twitter because she's basically on the podcast whenever she's fucking horny. Just fucking goddamn it. But anyways, that's it for us. All Gas, No Trash Official if you want to follow Adam for all the music news. Anyways, we'll see you on the next one.
That was Panel to Panel, the Game Rage Magazine comic book podcast. Thanks for listening. If you want to know more and follow along, go to Instagram and TikTok. Follow at Game Rage Magazine. If you want to follow on Twitter/X at Game Rage Mag. Tune in next time.